Voice of Indonesia from Indonesia to the world. Welcome back to Muhammad Faisal at the program of special interview. Well, today at the studio of Voice of Indonesia, there is a special guest, Spanish Ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency Francisco de Asís Aguilera Aranda. And we are going to interview him regarding bilateral relations between Indonesia and Spain. How are you today, Your Excellency?
Good day today. Thank you, happy to be here.
Nice to see you today and welcome to the studio of Voice of Indonesia.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, before we talk more about bilateral relations between Indonesia and Spain, first of all, I would like to say congratulations on your National Day, which is celebrated every 12th October.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
Well, actually, Your Excellency, what is your National Day? Can you explain about this?
Well, this is actually very funny because usually all countries celebrate something happening in their country. And what we celebrate is actually the first arrival of Christopher Columbus to the Americas, which for us, what everybody calls the discovery of the Americas, which for us is the founding moment of actually our nationality. For us, our connection to the Americas is such an important thing that we have made it our national most important characteristic, and we are celebrating it every year. So this year we are going to celebrate the 532 years of the first arrival of Christopher Columbus to the Americas and the beginning of all that came later, which is for us very important because we were finishing one important period in our history and we are about to begin another one which was connecting us to the world.
So all Spanish people celebrate this every year?
Yeah.
Including even when they are in another country?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It's just the responsibility of the embassies to organize the event.
Yes. How do you express your National Day related to the enthusiasm in developing bilateral relations with other countries, including Indonesia?
Well, actually, this is part of the beauty of celebrating national days because, on the one hand, you are organizing something from your community to others, but by inviting others, especially your home country people, you're actually giving them the chance to commemorate together whatever the historical fact, but on the other hand, also to have an opportunity to interact with them. Having so many guests in an event like this, having the chance to meet people that perhaps you were not able to see in the last months, but reconnecting with them, this is always very important. In the end of the day, what matters for this kind of celebrations is basically the human touch. The fact that you are providing, let's say, a pretext or an occasion for people to gather together, celebrate things together, and express together the friendship we have.
Okay, Your Excellency, if I'm not mistaken, Indonesia and Spain have a very long history in developing their bilateral relations. Even it has been since 1976, and even until now. So, how do you see about the current development, current relations between Indonesia and Spain, in order to make the future's relations becomes better and stronger?
Well, I allow myself to correct you a little bit. Actually, we established diplomatic relations in 1958. So our relationship is really one of those, the first that Indonesia established with the world after independence. But actually, we have seen an increase in our relationship since long. I think, especially people of my age, remember some historical connection we have from the 70s and the 80s. Many people in Indonesia know about CASA, the company that set up an industrial cooperation with then Nurtanio, the Indonesian company, in order to create planes. These planes are still created. Actually, now CASA is Airbus, and Nurtanio is now PT Dirgantara, and they started working 50 years ago.
Wow.
So just to give you an example of how early our industrial and our economical cooperation started, and how fruitful this cooperation has been, because I insist this program is still going on. Indonesia is now producing this CN235, I believe, the model, because they are producing so many that I forget which one is the right one. But they are producing it in Bandung, and the cooperation, the industrial cooperation between the two companies is still going on. And there are many elements, many items from the whole Airbus products worldwide, which are actually made in Indonesia. So this is just an example, because there are many. The important thing I want to highlight here is that since the very moment that Indonesians and Spaniards had the chance to sit together and start discussing projects, it's usually easy to develop something after that.
So even the cooperation in developing, like you said before, Airbus and also in what's it called, PTDI, right? PTDI in Bandung, West Java. This still connects even until now.
Yeah.
So what about in increasing a way or effort in increasing about their seriousness, and also even in having such benefit for the two sides, Your Excellency?
Well, we are on top of that, both governments actually. And in that respect, I'm very proud to share with you that the fact that in all the Indonesian government development projects, the ones they publish officially every year,
yes.
Spain and Spanish institutions and companies have been consistently awarded a few of them, which is proof of the trust that the Indonesian government has on Spanish know-how and Spanish availability for supporting Indonesian development goals. Among the latest, I would just mention, for instance, I believe a very beautiful industrial project of shipbuilding. And there are 10 patrolling boats, which already signed the contract. It was signed actually last year. This is going to be a very huge contract for the Ministry of Fisheries, and this is going to allow Indonesia to better their capability to police your national sovereign waters. And this is going to be done actually both in Spain and Indonesia. Indonesian shipyards, Spanish shipyards, they are going to work together, and they are going to create new ships for the Ministry of Fisheries. And there's going to be a lot of knowledge sharing and a lot of, expertise sharing, and a lot of combination of efforts from both sides. This is just an example. Yes. I can give you mine. I don't want to be so long.
Okay, well, Spain is known for its innovation in the renewable energy sector. So, are there any concrete cooperation projects in this field with Indonesia, Your Excellency?
Again, yes, a few of them. We would like for you to have more, but it is also depending very much on how do you organize domestically the transition, the energy transition. Actually, there is one which was started in 2018, if I don't remember wrong, which is already running in Sulawesi Selatan, in the south coast. Actually, there is the first wind turbine project, which was actually run out by an Indonesian company in combination with the Spanish company Gamesa, Siemens Gamesa. So this is already there, and that was the first one to start. Now, as far as I can tell, there are at least 5 Spanish companies which are working here in Indonesia, projects with Indonesian counterparts, either the government or private companies, depending on the nature of the project itself, in order to develop the energy transition or the traditional energy source. The most important one, of course, is Repsol, which has been here in Indonesia for many years. They are working in Sumatra, and they are, of course, working with Pertamina. But then you also have other companies dwelling and trying to develop projects in the renewable energy field, or even in the nuclear energy field as well.
So it also connects not only done by G2G, but also business to business.
Yes.
Personally. Wow, great, excellent. So what role? Spain has important role in supporting Indonesia's effort to achieve sustainable development goals, particularly in the maritime and tourism sectors. How do you see this, Your Excellency?
Well, this is one of our most important tasks at the embassy, and definitely in our bilateral relationship. I mentioned to you before this shipbuilding project. This is just an example. We also have a few others in the pipeline. The next one will be in the field of cybersecurity. There are others in other fields as well. The important thing I would like to highlight here is that we stick to what the Indonesian government indicates as priorities, of course. And based on the priorities of the Indonesian government, then we try to provide the Indonesian authorities and the Indonesian counterparts, because it's also part of the private sector sometimes, what they feel it might be suitable for their needs and for the capabilities. And this is a very time-consuming work, of course, because every project has nothing to do with the next.
Yes.
So it has to be very detailed. It has to be tailor-made. But what I can share with you is the fact that it is really successful. Spain is a traditional partner of Indonesia in this field of sustainable development goals, and what was before that, the formulation of that concept. Spain was among the top partners of Indonesia in the time when Indonesia was receiving official development aid. Indonesia, of course, does not any longer qualify for that because you are a middle-income country, high middle-income country, so therefore you are not able to receive this kind of support anymore. But now you receive what we call, in the OECD jargon, total official support for sustainable development, which means that beyond the official development aid, there's plenty of other kind of tools, financial resources, and other kind of actions that can take governments to support other fellow governments to achieve their development goals. So we are very much there. I'm very keen to keep working with Indonesia in every way we can.
Yes, Your Excellency, if I'm not mistaken, every year Spanish tourists come to Indonesia, and
Yes,
even
they do.
Indonesia also. Otherwise, Indonesian people come to Spain. So, in the tourism sector, Your Excellency, what is the effort in order to build a better cooperation for those countries?
Well, first of all, the most important thing is the tourists themselves, no? And the fact that Indonesia is becoming more and more popular in Spain in terms of being a tourist destination tells you a lot about the interest that your country is arousing in Spain. This is the first positive aspect. On top of that, we also are working together in the let's say the business side of tourism. You are probably aware there are at least 2 Spanish hotel companies working here in Indonesia. One of them actually started the international operations in Indonesia, in Bali, many years ago in the 80s, which is Melia. The Melia Group is here present in Indonesia. I think it is already managing 7 hotels throughout the country, not only Bali, beyond Bali. Here in Jakarta and in other cities as well, in Yogyakarta, in Makassar, I believe, and perhaps in other places too. The point is that they are still looking for opportunities, and this is very important. We also have the Barcelo Group. They are also managing a hotel here in Jakarta as well. And what I want to say is that there are still a lot of interest there. I also know of Indonesian business people who also have hotels in Spain. Some of them are very prominent people. I don't need to disclose their names, but the important thing is that there are a lot of mutual interest by both sides in supporting, developing, and promoting the tourism, the development in both sides.
Okay, well, it's so great, Your Excellency. Actually, building or developing tourism is also related to building people-to-people contact.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's why, in this case, Indonesian people, lots of Indonesian people until now still learned Spanish language. And they have also community in Jakarta. So how do you see this, Your Excellency?
Well, that's a very positive development. We are very happy to see that there is so much interest among so many Indonesian people for the Spanish culture and language, and that includes, of course, in Latin America. We all share the same language, and the only thing you can tell us about is the accent, but the vocabulary and the grammar and the cultural context is the same. We share the music, we share everything from that point of view, and this is a unified culture. But anyway, what I mean to say is that this is one of the best ways to connect each other. And the fact that so many people show an interest is something that it is of the interest of the Spanish embassy and also of the other Spanish-speaking countries' embassies here in Jakarta, and we try to do our best. In the past, we used to have here the Aula Cervantes. Unfortunately, it's not at the moment working because of a number of, let's say, logistical issues. But the important thing is that we keep pushing for a widening of the, let's say, official institutional offer of Spanish languages classes here and Spanish education for the people. And we can tell you, sorry?
In embassy or in
No, with local institutions.
Local, okay.
At the embassy, we don't have the room for that. What I wish to emphasize is that, yes, we notice more and more interest by institutions.
Yes.
They might be private academies, universities, schools, and that. We also noticed there is an increased number of students from Indonesia who want to further their studies in Spain, both in Spanish or in English, depending on what is the career path they are choosing. And on top of that, there is this increased connection also between the university professors, because we always think of the students, of course, but we also need to think of the professors of the universities who have higher levels of exchanges between them. So this is a very healthy development which is going on. And very soon we are going to have here the European Education, Higher Education Exhibition Fair, where many Spanish institutions are going to be, and I invite everybody around this area, and of course who might be watching us or listening to us at the moment, to attend to this exhibition, because they might find interesting educational opportunities for them, or for their children, or for relatives of them.
Okay, so let's come to the last question, Your Excellency. This 20th October, Indonesia will have a new president. So related to this, what are your hopes for the bilateral relations between Indonesia and Spain in the future regarding the new president of Indonesia?
Many. Every time, that you start something anew, and becoming president and starting your new government is something like that. You come with a lot of energy. And we all know that President-elect Prabowo is a very energetic person. So from that point of view, I'm pretty sure that he and his team, they are going to be very attentive, very focused on foreign affairs, and also on further developing ties with all the friendly countries around the globe. I know personally that President-elect Prabowo is very much aware and very much connoisseur of Spanish culture and civilization. He has visited Spain probably a few times. And on top of that, his team, his government is very much going to work with us in all the official connections we already have, and hopefully wishing to develop further ties in the future. We would like to see President Prabowo visiting Spain soon. And on that respect, we will be working as closely and as intensely as possible with his and his government to further making sure that our ties grow and develop further.
All right. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time and attention to be interviewed by the Voice of Indonesia today.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Okay, listener, that was our special interview with Spanish Ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency Francisco de Asís Aguilera Aranda. I am Ahmad Faisal. Have a nice day and bye-bye.